At the beginning of the movie, we see a young boy named Humbert. When Humbert was 14 years old, a girl came to his town and fell in love with him. The name of this girl is Annabelle. Annabelle and Humbert both become very close and fall deeply in love. But a few days later, Annabelle dies due to a deadly disease, and Humbert is deeply saddened by this. Many years passed. Humbert did not have a relationship with any girl after Annabelle passed. Now Humbert is 50 years old, and he is a professor. Humbert also has to write a book of his own, so he shifts to a small village in France. By coming here, he finds that his uncle's house is completely destroyed, and now he has no place to live. So his uncle sends Humbert to live on rent at a friend's house. Hayes and her 14-year-old daughter, called Lolita, lived in this house. Hayes shows Humbert her entire house. But Humbert doesn't like the house and starts leaving when Humbert sees Hayes' daughter, Lolita. By seeing Lolita, he starts to remember his first love, Annabelle, and he misses Annabelle and falls in love with the new girl at first sight, and Humbert changes his mind and agrees to live in this house. Many days pass. Lolita starts getting attracted toward Humbert. Then one day at night, Humbert is working in the room when Lolita comes and asks him if you work at night, then you do not sleep. He says, "I can't sleep at night." And Lolita suddenly comes and sits on his lap. Then Lolita's mom calls her and she leaves from there. Humbert is writing about Lolita in his diary, and he likes her very well. It also turns out that Lolita is also attracted to Humbert, and Humbert is always thinking about Lolita. A few days go by like this, and we learn that Lolita's mom is about to send her to boarding school. Lolita refuses to go to school, but her mom sends her to school. When Lolita is leaving, Humbert is looking at her from the window. Lolita also sees him, and then Lolita starts to run toward Humbert, and she hugs him and starts kissing him. And after Lolita leaves him upstairs, and she goes to the car. Meanwhile, Lolita's mom sends her maid to give a letter to Humbert, and the maid says that Lolita's mom has given it. After that, in the letter, she wrote, "I love you very much, and I want to marry you, and if you don't want to marry me, then you leave this house, because then I don't want to see you again in this house." Humbert is shocked to read this, and then he thinks that if I leave this house, I will never be able to see Lolita again. So he agrees to the marriage, and a few days later, Humbert and Hayes get married, but Humbert is never intimate with her and feeds her sleeping pills every night to put her to sleep. Some days pass like this, and one day Hayes finds his diary and starts reading it. She finds that he wrote a lot about her daughter, Lolita. Hayes gets very angry after reading his diary and then decides to divorce him. Humbert goes to the kitchen to get a drink to pacify Hayes, but when he comes back, he sees that Hayes is not there. Humbert sets out to find her and then learns that Hayes has had an accident and she dies. Humbert goes to summer camp to pick up Lolita, and he comes in his car with Lolita, and then he tells Lolita that her mom is sick. So he is because she didn't come to pick him up, and he tells her they're going on vacation, and they both book a hotel in the evening. Lolita meets an old writer named Claire, and Lolita is very much attracted to him. That night, Lolita and Humbert both fall asleep on the same bed. The next morning, when both of them open their eyes, Lolita starts kissing Humbert, and then both get intimate. Then they leave the hotel. On the way, Lolita asks Humbert to call her mom, but Humbert refuses and tells her the truth. Lolita cries a lot that night after hearing that her mom is dead, but Humbert comforts her, and then she's quite happy. For days, roaming here in different places. Then Humbert gets a job there, and Humbert and Lolita again shift there. Then Humbert gets Lolita admission in school. Many days pass like this. Then once Lolita comes to Humbert and says that she has to participate in the play happening at school, but Humbert refuses to do because she thinks there will be too many boys, and she is too insecure about this. But then Lolita seduces Humbert, and Humbert agrees with this. One day, Humbert receives a call from Lolita's piano teacher, who tells him, hearing that Lolita is not coming to class for a long time, Humbert feels that Lolita is having an affair with someone else, and on this matter, both start quarreling. Lolita leaves the house in anger, and Humbert leaves the house too, but she starts to look after him, and then she meets Humbert. He says sorry to Lolita, and Lolita tells him that she wants to travel. Then both leave from there to travel. They travel for many days in different places. On the way, Humbert notices that a car is following him. Humbert asks Lolita to note down the number of that car. The car follows him for a long time, but then a car suddenly stops following them. A few days later, Humbert sees that a car is following him again. Humbert stops his car and moves toward the chasing car, but he reverses the car and runs away. He comes to his car and asks Lolita for the number of the car, which he had asked to note down, but on the paper on which Lolita had written the car number, she pasted chewing gum. Humbert gets very angry because of the reason that the number's been erased, and he slaps Lolita. Lolita gets angry. Then Humbert convinces her. After some days, both stay in a hotel. Humbert tells Lolita to stay at the hotel and goes out to get something himself. He comes back and sees that Lolita's feet are dirty, and he understands that Lolita had gone out, and he suspects she might be having an affair with someone else. Then both start traveling, and once again Lolita becomes very ill. Humbert admits Lolita to the hospital. The next morning, Humbert calls at the hospital to inquire about Lolita's health. The nurse tells her that Lolita has been taken away by her uncle. Now Humbert becomes very tense that the one who was following him may have left with Lolita. He goes to the hospital and tries to find out who has taken Lolita, but no one knows anything about the man. He searches for Lolita everywhere, but he can't find her. 3 years pass by, and still Lolita is not found, and one day Humbert gets a letter from Lolita. In this letter, Lolita tells that she is married and pregnant and needs some money. Lolita's address is also written in that letter. Then Humbert reaches out to Lolita. Arriving there, Humbert sees that Lolita is pregnant. Then he asks Lolita about her husband. Lolita shows Humbert her husband. Seeing him, Humbert understands that it is not the man who is following him. Humbert then asks Lolita who she had a fling with. So Lolita tells him that she had a fling with Claire and that she liked Claire too. But Claire was sexually inactive and he wants to make a doll video of her. So Lolita ran away from Claire and married a guy. After hearing the story she tells, Humbert says goodbye to Lolita and he goes to Claire's house. When he gets there, he shoots Claire and kills him. Hearing the gun shoot, the police go after Humbert and he surrenders himself to the police after a long chase. At the end, we are told that Humbert died in jail due to an illness, and Lolita also died while giving birth to her child. And here where the movie ends.
Children are divided into two groups. The offense.
The series starts with a voiceover narration in which a man narrates about a game that he played when he was a kid in his town.
The rules are simple.
He talks about how to play, what the rules are, and how to win the game.
In order to win, the attackers must tap.
The game is called the Squid Game.
In my town, we had a game called the Squid Game.
Attention! The second game will begin shortly.
In the second game, the players are to pick a stamped shape out of a dalgona.
For the final game, you'll both be playing Squid Game.
The sixth and final game is the Squid Game, with Gi-hun on offense and Sang-woo on defense. Gi-hun easily completes the first few stages of the game, throwing sand into Sang-woo's eyes to distract him and crossing the squid's middle.
I can't forgive you for everything you're doing.